This is my second video today. My first one kind of ventured a little bit off of CPS. Um, but this one is on CPS and foster care. But I'm also going to kind of relate it to Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Um, because it's already seen that she did not pay for her crimes, especially as all the FOIAs are coming out and showing that she really was more involved. She wasn't really abused. She wasn't in fear of her life and all of that. Now, but now that the FOIAs and some wonderful people have been releasing the phone calls, you're starting to see more of how the family wanted to milk this for money and clout and just continue this false narrative of why she had to kill her mother. But in these phone conversation phone conversations she's having with Ken, Ryan, uh Christy, Rod, and Mike, and other people, you're starting to see that she had cable television. She laid in bed watching TV all day. Um, and, I think she was getting a lot of money while she was in jail. Now, one thing that has been found is Son of Sam laws aren't constitutional, that people can profit off of a murder they committed by telling their story, writing it and writing interviews, however they do it. But what if we can create a law that fines them? I mean, you can fine people. Does it become, cruel and unusual punishment? Not really. How is taking away millions of dollars harming someone when people are okay with people living in poverty working their asses off in a real job, flipping burgers, or um doing retail work, whatever job still pays seven something bucks an hour, because there are still states that do by that 7.25 an hour, especially in the deep south. But, maybe we can make it a law that they, people who murder someone cannot profit off of it. That means, them getting payments in jail from non-relatives. Maybe make that a law. Um, because as you've seen with this whole Blanchard Anderson crowd, um, Ryan Anderson just sits on his couch begging for money from the clout he got from a schmurderer, because he was so pathetic that he had to marry a schmurderer. But we really probably should find ways that these people cannot profit. And I don't even understand the psyche of someone who will pay, just throw money at Ryan Anderson as he sits on his couch and just talks. Like, what is wrong there? Like, is there no other cause that's more needy? Oh, well, I was going through a divorce and he was going through a divorce, so what? You know who are also going through divorces? Women who were almost killed by their husbands. Why don't you throw money there with those children who no longer have a father because their father's in jail for beating up mommy or the kids? I mean, you want to take this twisted way of saying, well, I got to support some big overweight loser, then give it to children in need or whatever. I mean, there are a lot of children in need, not some 40-year-old mama's boy. Go make that guy get a job. Obviously, recently putting down children with special needs, he'll never get a special needs job again, ever. And if he does, that school will be sued. So there you go. But what brings me to this Club Med type facility that some of these schmurderers are putting in, that needs to stop. They're supposed to be rehabilitating and paying for their crimes. They're not supposed to be, living it like they're in a hotel. Just not. And we also need to find some loopholes where it's not unconstitutional to make money off of murdering people. We just have to stop it. But what kind of brings me to this was in one of my other videos, I discussed a case, well, several cases, but one of I think it was adopted girl that was murdered by her foster, I think it was adoptive parents, by being beaten for 30 minutes while she had COVID, pneumonia, and a flu. She had all of them. Like, what piece of garbage? She pled and got 10 years, the same as Gypsy Rose. Is that, I probably shouldn't keep using that same bad word on everything, but is that scumbag? Call her scumbag because I don't know how, like, what verbiage YouTube allows because I'm kind of new to this, but what scumbag like beats a girl that's already sick and lets her get that sick and doesn't take care of her? Like, these people clearly aren't being vetted appropriately. But is she going to be able to get a bunch of pay pigs and lonely hearts and keep giving her money because she's murdered someone? Well, I did find this other case, and I tried looking for it again from Moses Pharaoh. Now, I really love Moses Pharaoh. Um, the content he puts out, and he talks a lot about the adoption industry, the child trafficking of it, and seriously, if you don't think that the good portion of children that go through DCF, CPS, aren't child trafficked, aren't SA'd, aren't harmed, aren't tortured, you're insane. You probably don't belong in society. But it's a fact, Jack. So, anyhow, I found this case and I can't find it again. Otherwise, I would read to you what he so eloquently put. It, it breaks my heart to have to go through his pages because he talks about a lot of children that are murdered from foster and adoptive parents. A lot are. A lot. And if they aren't, there's still many that are seriously harmed, put in cages, or other forms of abuse. Um, they're denied food, sometimes denied basic medical, and taken away from families that had lesser issues than what they're put into, right? We know that's a fact too. And we're not saying that parents don't harm their children, biological parents, because they do too. And in this day and age, we should really know how to fix all these problems, and we don't, but we need to. And, we really need to become a society of you see something, say something, get involved. I mean, These children are being tortured, tormented. Can you really live with yourself knowing that? Anyhow, so this other story I found, going through my feeds, he comes up in my feeds, and it was about this boy, and I think this might be a decade old, but I'm not positive. I can't find the thing again. I think it is over a decade old because I'm going to read an article. I was able to email myself the article that was in his story, but I can't find his story. I don't know where it went. But yeah, it was over 10 years ago. And this boy was in, I think it was a foster care home. And what comes to find out, it was a man and two women. They were all in love together. Yeah, there's a term for it. I'm not going to really get into that. Um, but the adopted parents, now I don't think, I think, I don't know, I don't remember if the couple were married and then they shared a lover, and if she lived with them or not. But this is the gist of what happened. They wanted to go out of town for so many days, 3, 4 days, whatever, for family reunion. Now, I know a lot of foster care situations, you cannot take children, foster care children, out of state or out of the area without permission. Were they told no? What? Or they told, yeah, but you have to find some. Yeah, you can go, but the foster child can't. I think he was 3 years old. I think. So what these scumbags did, and I believe it was in the summer. I don't remember what state it was in, but I think I'm going to read the article, and then I'm going to try and tear the caseworker a new butthole. But anyways, what happened? They didn't take the child with them. Now I don't remember if they had other children, and it wasn't a very, very long write up from Moses Farrow. But the gist of it is they didn't take him, so they wrapped him in a blanket, duct taped it, and stuck him in a hot closet with no food or water. I don't even know if there's air conditioning. I don't even know how hot it got in there. But when they returned back from their fun vacation, the boy was gone. He had passed. So the mother and father destroyed his body. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I think they did have other kids. I don't know if they were foster or biological kids. I don't know. But I think they had 4 kids, I think is what they said. And after knowing that the boy was gone and setting his body on fire to try and hide the evidence, and I don't know how well, I think they did. I think they did sadly burn it and put it in the sea. And I think this was in Ohio. I'll read the news article on it. She takes the 3 remaining children to the park, but claims the 4th child that's gone is went with them too. So then she claims she passed out asleep while all the kids are playing, and this one child ended up missing. And I think they did a search for him. And then I think they started to realize. And I think eventually that third person in the couple, not couple, thruple. Right, I said that right? It's a thruple, right? Came clean. I believe that's how that happened. But I'll read the article too. And then come to find out, I think the woman that said what happened, I think she just got a short term because I think she helped with the disposal. The mother, I believe, got 54 years, and the husband, I think, got 15 years because he pleaded. 15 years? Why not send them both to trial? Whether, and I'm pretty sure he was the one that did the tying up. So I don't understand this. She gets more time, he gets less time. Whether she come up with the idea, whatever. All I know is they knew, both together knew what happened. Both together drove off knowing the situation and the peril he was in. I don't know why they didn't take him. Was it he would have been hard for the trip? I don't know. I don't know where they went. I don't know how they went. I would love more information on it, but I just don't know. 15 years, and then this also comes to like my question is, a lot of people say men have worse prison experiences than women. Why is that? A schmurder is a schmurder is a schmurderer, right? All right, so now I'm going to read this article, and then I'm going to show something else that I found also on the Faces pages today. Go in my printer. Okay. Um, and I printed it the wrong way. All right, no. Okay, so the boy's name was Marcus Fiesel. So this article, and I want to give credit where credit's due. Marked out so tiny on. Who was it? News Local WCPO. This says. Okay, so Marcus Fiesel's caseworker carries burden, finds hope from foster child's murder 10 years ago. F you friggin' TWAT. She, you should have gone and crawled under a hole. A rock. Go just crawl under a rock, lady, and don't ever come out again. Because what was told, I don't remember if it's in this article or the one I read from Moses, was that you showed up after he was deceased. They told you he was sleeping and sick, and you said, okay, and you left. What is your freaking problem? And did you lie about it in your report that you saw him? Because you probably did. Because that's what you scumbags do. He was already gone. But the question I wonder for you, little burdened lady, is did you do that many times going into that home when there could have been bruising, cuts, abrasions, other forms of harm on him? Low weight. And he's sick, and you don't sit there and say, okay, well, what does he have? And show me that you took him to the doctor. Or that you at least called the doctor and they told you it's not necessary to bring him in. Give me the doctor's name and I will verify it. It's a no-brainer, you idiot. It's a no-brainer. Hamilton, Ohio. Marcus Fiesel's caseworker was one of many people who attended a ceremony for the slain foster child Friday. I'm going to tell you right now, if that was my boy or my grandson and that foster care worker showed up, I'd probably be in jail. As far as I know, my grandchildren are alive, all four of them that were adopted out. But God help you if you are lying to me that something happened. But if you show up to a ceremony for my son or grandson, I hope you have legs left to walk back out of there. Joseph, because I just think like once your grandchild that you wanted back or your child you wanted back is dead, I I don't know if there's much sanity left where you could hold in that anger. Now, I mean, now I can only say what I think people would do in this situation. Um, but I don't know. I think I would lose it. Ever just lose it. Joseph Boomer said that the tragic case affected him both professionally and personally, but he made a decision to such small rating, sorry, to turn that horrible event into something positive. What, a ceremony? Has anything even changed? Has there? Anything really changed in how you do things and how you vet foster parents? Really? I challenge myself to become a better person, said Boomer. Bemmer, I don't know. To hopefully share my experience that I have gone through, the trauma that I experienced as a result of his death, to share that with other workers to help them become better workers. Oh, so this is the worker. Okay, so it's a man. It affected him both professionally and personally. Yeah, anybody who hires this person, have your head examined. This is a piece of shit. Garbage, piece of shit. Turn that horrific event into something positive. I'm still walking this earth. I don't know. I challenge myself to become a better person. You should have already had your fucking A game for these children, you loser. A better person. You should have already been the best. Go through share the experience that I have gone through. What? What? Not caring enough about a child to really see that they were in with sociopaths? Because a sociopath, only a sociopath says I can't or won't take this child, but I think the answer is to tie him in a blanket and put him in a closet. Yeah. Yeah. Those are the people that you vetted. To share that with other workers to help them become better workers. Death, protecting a child from a death should be the highest threshold, and you should already be there. You should already be. It is not hard to protect a child. It's not. I protected 4 children with severe behavioral issues and mental illness. It's not hard. It's just not hard to protect a child. It's not. We know by now about car seats and yada yada and yada yada. Don't leave them alone. Don't leave them on a bed to roll off. We already know all these ways to protect a child. Don't wrap them up a blanket and put them in a closet. Did you know they were going out of town? How do you not know people are going out of town? They sneaking off in the middle of the night? Oh, you're such a garbage person. Crowd gathered at the Butler County Government Services Center to mark 10 years since 3-year-old Marcus was schmurdered by his foster parents, Liz and David Carroll. There are many in this room who have scars and wounds from working on his case, said Butler County Commissioner Cindy Carpenter. Fuck you, Cindy. Fuck you. You're a problem. You're the problem. You're the problem. Scars and wounds. Oh, fuck. Fucking right. This isn't to change anything, the ceremony. The community probably put it together. The community probably put it together. Nothing changes in your offices. That's why children are still dying. Nothing changes. Nothing changes from the bottom to the top. Nothing. Oh, this really makes you want to throw up. This bullshit comment that they say. Marcus lived, I believe, so others could live. For 3 years, you scumbag. For 3 years. Sick. Butler County Sheriff Richard Jones. Oh, the agency that is called out when a rubber stamping piece of shit judge says remove that child on an ex parte hearing. Stop those fucking ex parte hearings because most of them children aren't in immediate danger. They're not. They're not in imminent harm to die in the next 10 hours, 72 hours. You know it's bullshit. But they'll rubber stamp that ex parte hearing. Go pill the kids. And who picks up these kids? The sheriff or the local police. He represents all the kids that have passed away and have been killed in that process. No, all the kids represent all the kids. All the kids represent all the kids. Because they were put in a home that didn't vet them properly, that didn't keep an eye on them properly, that is told that a dead kid is actually sick in bed. No, he's not. He's he's cremated and put in a body of water. He's way beyond sick. Foster care professionals were there to talk about improvements to the system since Marcus's death. The director of Butler County Children's Services, William Morrison, said computers linked throughout the state share information on foster parents. If you have a problem foster parent, that should be put in as a crime and handled as a crime and put in criminal databases. So what? So when you do criminal background check, which I doubt you do half the time or if even that much. Criminal databases. That's how you find out someone's a bad foster parent is because they committed a crime against a child, and you need to have that in criminal records. Some we made some computer program. It should have been done like 40 years ago. Databases. They had government databases 40 years ago and internet 30 years ago. Not over the last 10 years. We have more knowledge today than we did 10 years ago. That's pathetic. That's pathetic. Because 30 years ago, I was working with DCF. I know how things could have been done. They also look deeper into the backgrounds of potential foster parents. Sure, you do. Others just come to honor the blue eyed boy they remembered from those awful news reports in August 2006. Oh, that was 20 years ago. This must be an old article. Oh, sorry, my bad. But even 2006, they're a way to vet everybody. Let's just wait a bit. First, Liz Carroll called police and reported him missing after she took several kids to a park in Anderson Township. Hundreds of volunteers joined police in searching for Marcus. He was never found. Shame. Dumped what wouldn't burn into the Ohio River. Their crime shocked the tri state. The Carrolls are in prison. Liz got 54 years to life after jury found her guilty. David took a plea deal and got 15 years to life. Oh, okay, it was 15 years to life. All right, well, that's. How about just give them life without parole? Life without parole. Life without parole. You killed someone. And it was like, that should have been first degree murder. I mean, you leave child for 3, 4 days without food or water. He's three. Three. Without food and water, his body is going to change. His sugars are going to drop. He needs water, like daily. They need water, like often throughout the day. Marcus, who had autism, had lived with his mother in Butler County, but Children's Services removed him because of abuse and neglect. His parents, foster monsters, they're not parents, took in a special needs child to get more money for that. But they don't know most of them do not know how to handle children with special needs. Most of them are not properly trained. So they don't know what to do. And their answers are stupid. Just give the children back to the parents. For abuse and neglect, I wonder what those alleged abuse and neglect charges were. A private agency, Lifeway for Youth, placed him with the Carrolls. When the agency's lack of oversight was revealed, the state revoked its license. I truly planted in Marcus's honor. How do you want to make a bet that they just rebranded themselves? All the people that were in that agency still work with children, families, and whatnot. I bet a pretty penny. Yep, 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 I would. Okay. I think I've been crazily talking about uh ASFA, which I think I've actually been calling it American and Safe Families Act like just a slip of the tongue. I know what it is. I know it was in 1997. It's the Adoption and Safe Families Act. And I got this and I cut off the bottom and it was a Mariah lady. So I'm just letting you know I'm using your printout and I printed it the wrong way, so it cut off a little bit on the top and bottom. So and just let you all know that I'm, fair use on the commentaries I'm making on these articles and these social media posts and everything. Um, and I'm also using it for entertainment, informational, or educational, or however you want to do that. But in this, it says there's about over 330,000 children in the U.S. foster care as of September 30th, 2025, per AFCAR's FY 2025, fiscal year 2025. 317 children died while in foster care. And that's in the FY fiscal year 2025 exit AFCARS. That is one child a year. In 10 years, that's what? As many or more that were killed in the World Trade Centers bombing, plane crashes, all that. And that happened how long ago? I was pregnant with my child when that happened. I actually remember I was driving to Boston that day. I was listening to WAAF and they announced it. And then they announced the second one. Like I was like I'm in the uh kind of parking lot traffic or driving down 93 into Boston and we hear this. So I will never forget. And I was pregnant with my youngest at the time. And so what was that? 2001, right? 25 years ago? And to this day, they still have a ceremony every year. Why can't as many children are dying in foster care in 25 years? It's way more than that. Be as like not ceremonial, um, but why are dead children just as important as adults that were working in a trade center? And I'm not saying no life is important because every life is important. But come on now. If 300 children are dying, and I don't remember the numbers of how many died in the World Trade Center, but that because we're still doing it, still honoring those people who died for no reason, we're still honoring them because that was a tragedy in our society, in our nation. Why isn't the death of babies tragedy in our nation? They didn't get to live. They didn't get to see their job at the World Trade Center making great money. And I think some children probably died there too because there was probably daycares there. And I'm not, but I think it was more adults than children, to be honest. These are our babies. We nurture them. We eat healthy. We women who give birth to our children, we take prenatal cares. We go often to the doctor. We do everything to make our children healthy. Our babies be born healthy. We do everything while they're in the hospital the first few days. And then we take them, week or 2 weeks old to the pediatrician for the first time. And on a regular schedule, we take them because these are our cherished children. They're not chattel. They're not a commodity. When will we fucking understand that? They're not a fucking commodity. They're not something to be sold for whatever reason that they're sold for. Because there's so many reasons why. I miss my grandchildren. It's like a death. It really is when you stop seeing them. When you see children every day or every week for years, and then you just cease to see them again. It's like a living death. It's hard to explain for those who haven't experienced, but don't think you can't. Because you can't. All right, I'm gonna end this because I just can't talk about this anymore. Because I love all children. All children are so special. I love all animals. I will never begrudge an animal that comes to my house looking for food. For freak's sake, in 2 years, I've acquired 10 cats that were not mine, that were other neighbors neglected. And they come here looking for food. Most of them are friendly. We've named them all. Most of them will come sit on our laps and give us love. Most of them were skittish in the beginning. And, it's taken time here and there and here and there for them to warm up to us. Two of them were friendly right off the bat. Right off the bat. Mary Lou and Gonzo were friendly right off the bat. It took a little while for Callie and Jasmine to be friendly. They all fight when it comes to dinner time. I've had to get a couple of separate bowls that look like flowers that hold like I think 6 and 6 each. Uh, because they fight. They fight. I've had to take special eye medication to heal eyes because um heal eyes when they've gotten in fights and they got an eye infection. So I would never turn away a child or an animal that was in need. These children deserve to be able to go to sleep at night and not have a fear if they're going to eat tomorrow. Not be in fear. Okay, I'm gonna mess my makeup's probably getting a mess. um, that they're gonna get beaten or yelled and screamed at, or that they're going to have that door open at night when they're asleep, because that has to hurt too. We have to do something, people. We can't just come 10 years later and say, yeah, we made some fixes. And of course, no, we cannot predict every time a child is going to be harmed or murdered. But we can do things differently, okay? One thing is stop having these monsters that take children sit in fucking court all day. Knowing knowing the judge is gonna go their way. Just knowing it, just walking around all high and mighty, knowing that you're gonna win. Knowing because that's how they do. They walk around that way. Like, we got this one in the bag because we already know this one's a dirty judge. And when I go to law school, I'm gonna take down judges too. I will throw in complaints. I'll get them recused. I will do everything because I have no fear. I have no fear. And maybe I'll run as a judge against some of them. Resign, go run against another one. Resign, go run against another one. Find out what ones are the really worst ones. Kind of find a lot of them are at Leavenworth. We have to do something, people. And not everyone can go and pursue a law degree like I am. Not everyone can do that. But we can do things. We as a community can just say no. Because you can just sit there and say, well, that's not my child. But who is going to say that it won't be your child in 2 years? Or your grandchild? It doesn't matter who you are or where you think you are in life. Because children are a commodity. And they have to find a way to source them out for money. And if you don't believe me, follow Moses Pharaoh because he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about. See, he is actually in the field, the proper field to know how this works. Now, if you've seen some of my other things about saying how DCF workers in Florida aren't qualified, they are. And I think the state and the governor wants them unqualified because they don't want it fixed. They don't want it fixed. All right, I'm going to go. I've been on here for 45 minutes. Oh my gosh, make these videos too long and drawn out, and I'm so sorry, people. And it started raining. It's been really raining in the mountains that we live in. So, um, it's probably going to take a while for me to upload. I did one, the early one, 3 hours ago, and it's only at 70%. Oh, this stinks. Internet on a mountain. I love living on my mountain, but it stinks. Okay. You guys really have a great day. Stay safe. And if it's raining where you are, and if the weather's very, very bad, stay safe. If you're having tornadoes come through, get safe. Get into a room or a shelter or a basement, something like that. All right. Take care.